This presentation is about construction inspection and contract administration. I'm Brian Cadiz. I'm the local systems field engineer for the Central Region. This presentation applies to the following types of projects that are led through the Iowa DOT. These are federal fund projects, SWAP funded projects, and farm to market projects. This should look fairly familiar. If you had already reviewed the Administrating Bureau presentation, you'll see that Nicole had talked about some of the similar information for federal aid, SWAP, and farm to market projects. She went into details about the level of oversight that we will have in each of these types of projects. I'm just going to talk to you about what we expect for each oversight. So I'll be sharing with you about pre-construction meeting, construction inspections, material sampling and testing, change in material specs and the materials IM, talk a little bit about change orders, then we'll talk about project finalization. Pre-construction meeting. Very first and foremost in these pre-construction meetings, you have to make sure that the contract is signed by the Iowa DOT. We know there are a lot of contractors that are anxious to do the work, but if you start to call and have correspondence before it is signed by the DOT, there's a risk of losing your SWAP funding or federal funding if you do not wait till the contract is signed by the DOT. So make sure that you receive information that the contract is signed. There are a lot of information to cover in the pre-con meeting, and you can find some of those information in the IM 6.00 construction inspection, Attachment D, Chapter 2.11. Of importance to this pre-con meeting, you should talk about the construction schedule and try to get a construction schedule from the contractor. We recognize that they don't always have to follow that, but they should try to give you some idea of what they're going to do for this project. Another thing you should talk about is progress payments. This is an important topic to contractors. They want to be able to be paid for their work, and they want it to be paid in a timely manner. So that should be discussed in the meeting. Also, what should be discussed is the communications. If there's some issues that come up during the construction, who does the prime contractor go to address those issues, such as unexpected utility line that was out there? Or, for example, a bridge project where the old abutment has not been properly removed. How is that addressed? You should also talk about site conditions there, what to do under certain situations there. There may be some that are trickier than others there, so you may want to talk about that as well. Construction inspection. I just wanted to visit with you that we have what's called the Technical Training and Certification Program, better known as TTCP. This is a resource that the DOT provides to people within and outside of the DOT to be certified and properly trained to do construction inspection for various types of work. They could be for concrete, they could be for asphalt, for pipes, just various informations out there, training out there that strongly encourage you to get yourself certified properly. Another helpful resource is the Local Systems IM 6.00 Construction Inspection, which is Attachment D. And in this one, there are 110 pages that can help you with information on how to administer a project. We also have tools for documenting the work that are found in the Local Systems Post-Letting Resource webpage. There are approximately 128 spreadsheet files that you can download to your project files and help track the quantities that you accumulated in the projects there. Another tool that we use now is called Doc Express. You're very familiar with that there. We just recently updated the specifications for this, requiring you to follow the naming convention as outlined in Doc Express. Also, another tool that's going to be coming your way is the APIA tool. This is the contract administration tool that also helps you track project construction administration. And this will soon be required for all projects that are let through the DOT. Now, material sampling and testing. There's a materials acceptance report that will be found in Doc Express. This is a nice document that helps you to know the frequency of sampling, what to do with the sampling, and it gives you references why those samplings are required. For the SWAP or FM funded projects, the LPA wants assistance from the district materials staff. They will need to submit a request for materials inspection. And it'd be helpful if you copy the local system staff so that we know that you sent it to them. For federal aid projects there, we will be doing assurance sampling. We will have district material staff out there to do their part to make sure you follow the federal aid rules. Just a note about this material specifications there. We've gone through quite a few revisions between October of 2018 and April of 2020. There have been 16 pages added there between that time period. Under the DOT specification 4109.04, stockpiling of aggregates, for PCC stone, driving on stockpile may be grounds for rejection of the stockpile. For all other aggregates, if a ramp is used to build the stockpile, the ramp cannot be used as certified materials. And if you incorporate the ramp into the stockpile, it may be grounds for rejection of the stockpile itself. 4188.06, speed feedback sign. This is not a bid item, but it is incidental to the bid item traffic control. There's a standard for that when it is required. Also in specification 2528.03, section M, and 4188.06 for the characteristic requirements of the speed feedback sign. See the materials IM 488.09 and MAPLE, which stands for the Materials Approved Product List Enterprise for approved brand and model. Since October 15, 2019, there have been at least 68 revisions to the existing materials IM or appendices. There's also been 2 additional new materials IMs. IM 204 Appendix X, acceptance of small quantities of materials. Max quantity allowed is per bid item, not per the work type. There's a simplified acceptance requirements for aggregates and PCC pavement and structures. In IM 204 Appendix Z, supplemental guide, there's added information on utility access adjustment rings. In IM 205 Appendix A, securing samples, binder sample tin goes in cold feed bags. Materials IM 328 concrete beams. For scribe marks, you want to avoid the center beam and etch into the beam as small as possible. In IM 383, the concrete strength by maturity, curves can be transferred among the ready mix plants of the same company when identical materials are used. Materials IM 445 precast concrete. Product must be at least 3 days old and have 28 days strength to ship. Materials IM 449.05 manhole adjustment. The IM was rewritten to include precast concrete ring in addition to metal, plastic, etc. Materials IMs 451.03B Appendix A for epoxy coated bars. There's some information on handling requirements for epoxy coated steel. That information should mimic Construction Manual Chapter 11.42 Epoxy Coated Reinforcement Care and Handling. The intent is to prevent abrasion, use multiple lift points, and store in cribbing. Materials IM 483.05 Preformed Thermoplastic Pavement Marking. This is the new IM. See Maple for the approved manufacturers and brands. Materials IM 488.09 Speed Feedback Sign, which is also new. This is also available in the Maple for approved manufacturers and brands. Materials IM 528 Ready Mix Plant Inspection. They have adjusted the report frequency for contractor quality control tests. Weekly reporting for all non-deck production, structural, non-structural, and miscellaneous. Just some things to keep in mind. Continue using paper versions of the Form 193 identification of sample test. as shown in CM Chapter 3.21. Notify the district materials when the epoxy-coated steel is delivered. Please remind the contractor that they are required to notify project engineers and district materials prior to smoothness testing. Monitor the contractor's sampling of uncompacted asphalt to ensure materials lab gets a 40-pound box. Sample tack early on small projects for Construction Manual 8.45 and Materials IM 323. We recommend the inspectors and the contractor's project engineer to enroll in the TTCP contract administration courses levels 1, 2, and 3, especially those that are involved in project audits. Change orders. Prior to sending out change orders, have the local systems regional staff review. Make sure that all important information are in it and that it makes sense to the folks that will be issuing the change orders. Make sure the approvals are done in proper order through Doc Express. We've had cases where project engineer will approve the change orders before the contractor. When that happens, the contractor will not be able to sign the change orders, and this will cause delay, and we will need to start over again. There are a lot of issues with the submitted change orders that we receive in our office, and there's another presentation on how to draft change orders. Now we go into finalizing projects. The first step is to schedule a project walkthrough. When the project is about 90 to 95% complete, contact the local systems field staff to schedule a final walkthrough with the prime contractor. That way we're all seeing the same thing when we walk through the project. During the walkthrough, compile a punch list. Obviously, after that, complete the punch list when the item is completed by the prime contractor. Sign the final working day report and complete the 435. A note about the 435, there are 2 signatures needed by the local public agencies. One of them is for the project engineer, and the other one is for the local public agency representative. Step 3, go through the local systems IM 6.110 Attachment E checklist. This is being updated to follow the Doc Express folders. Also, go through the Materials Audit 101 form, and then once those are completed, prepare a semifinal voucher. When going through the project files, download the needed documents, certs, and Doc Express in the appropriate folders. You should be able to prepare a semifinal voucher. Once this is completed, sign it, and then have the prime contractor sign it. This may require some reviews before the contractor agrees with your quantity. But once everybody is in agreement with the final quantity, please make sure all parties sign it. The next step after signing of the semifinal voucher is to contact the regional field staff to schedule an audit or review. The field staff will either schedule when to do a review or audit or waive the field review and audit and notify the local public agency to submit a final document as shown in the IM 6.110 Attachment F checklist. The local public agency should upload all final documents into Doc Express under the folder Project Closeout. Notify the regional field staff the document has been uploaded. Do not send any final vouchers or final documents directly to finance. This will cause delays. The regional staff will sign final documents for all federal aid projects and for all SWAP projects that are reviewed. The regional staff will not sign final documents for SWAP projects that are not reviewed and all FM projects. Again, all final vouchers and final documents should be sent to finance through the local systems bureau. The regional staff will forward all properly completed final documents to Finance Bureau for final payment or reimbursement. For federal aid projects, an FHWA final closure document will be sent to the local public agency around 6 months after the final documents are submitted. For federal aid projects, retain project file for 3 years after the receipt of the final closure documents. With SWAP and farm to market projects, retain project files for 3 years after final payment or receipt of final reimbursement. We have regional contacts if you have questions about the construction inspection or contract administration. The field techs can reach Tom Brunchen or Doug Heron for the Eastern region, Daryl Erickson or Brenda Bell for the Central regions, Jeff Shelton and Julia Schneider for the Western region. For the engineers, you can talk with Kent Ellis for the Eastern region, myself, Brian Cadis for the Central region, Vince Ayler for the Western region. That concludes this presentation for construction inspection and contract administration. Stay healthy and stay safe.